Warzone is probably one of my favorite multiplayer games ever since launch, hence why this whole channel revolves around it. Although I love the game, it's still very far from perfect, which results in a lot of features that I and the community hate. So today I want to share 11 things that Warzone players hate. This is focusing on things that the developers are able to fix and not really focusing on other players' behaviors. So inconsistencies, bad designs, or bugs are all fair game here. Also, I try to be positive on this channel, like I really think it's exhausting to just be negative, so this is a one-off video. I promise I'm not negative like this in most of my content. Being said, go ahead and comment what you hate most about Warzone. Now, I'm all for experimental game modes and ideas in Warzone, and I think that's the whole purpose of the Battle Royale preview playlist that they rarely use. Well, one of the new features alongside Season 3 Reloaded was the Heavy Armor random event on Rebirth Island. It gives everyone an extra armor slot, which results in the new max HP value of 350. Now, it may not sound like much, but that extra 50 HP makes a world of difference. Many snipers that normally one-shot now don't, even if you're point blank. So this adds even more controversy to the whole one-shot sniper ordeal. Then, the awful ground loot guns you find off rip are now even harder to use, and picking off multiple enemies at once is now at an all-time max difficulty. The in-game events are usually pretty mild. Things kind of like XP crates, resupply, and jailbreaks are a fun and exciting random event that adds just the right amount of change to the game without like really turning it over on its head. Well, the heavy armor event completely changes the game, and most of the time when a heavy armor game starts, it looks something like this.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the
Close out.
You can equip more armor now. Just keep it.
It's a shame that this event is only on Rebirth and no other map also. It's kind of like disrespectful because everyone obviously loves Rebirth. Having a 1 in 8 chance of getting this event is just like stupid. Like I said, I'm okay with this event existing. It just needs to be in a separate playlist that you're not forced to potentially encounter just by playing pubs, which directly feeds into my next point. One of the best aspects of Warzone is its many maps. Well, in order to play the map you actually want to play, sometimes you have to wait forever for said map to finally be in the rotation. Don't know how it works. Every Thursday we get a new playlist with the squad sizes and what maps they include. For this week for Battle Royale, we have buyback solos, Urzikstan duos, Urzikstan trios, Urzikstan squads, and for Resurgence you have Fortune's Keep, Rebirth, and Vondel for solo through trios, and then for quads you just have Rebirth and Fortune's Keep. That means that this week's rotation there is currently no way to play regular solos and no way to play quads on Vondel whatsoever. Which may not be the end of the world, and if I'm being honest, this is probably one of the best playlists we've ever seen, which is honestly sad to say this is the best because it's still like restrictive. I'm pretty sure 2 weeks ago there was literally no way to play Resurgence trios other than the LTM where you spawned in with your loadout, which I think was just super dumb. It's not out of the equation to have 3 people, but instead of playing that, you're gonna have to play quads, which half the time if you're playing quads with 3, you're not even gonna get a teammate, so it's really trio quads. But aside from that, once you have your full squad, even when you have to wait to play the map you really want to play, and once it finally comes up, you get to play it once, maybe twice, because the intervals are only 15 minutes. Then you have to fill the time with maps you probably don't want to play up until it's time you play your 1 or 2 games at your favorite map again. On those rotations with 3 maps, you're waiting 30 minutes before you can play that map you want to play. I just have one question. What is the harm of having every squad size available for every map at the same time? I genuinely cannot think of anything else other than inconveniencing the player. Every map needs every given squad size at any given moment, all the time. Period. I know they just removed the Sheikah Island indefinitely, and I think that's because when players are forced to play something they don't want to play, they're gonna complain about it. Even goes beyond this. I had a couple friends who wanted to do the nuke, and we just had 3 people, and this is back when it was only available on Rebirth Island. So we had to wait like 15 minutes between games just so we could have a chance to get the nuke. Obviously, we would get rolled anyways. The point is, it just felt really scuffed and kind of dumb. Like, it almost felt like the nuke contract shouldn't be in the game because you can't even really go for it with any squad size at any given moment. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and pour one out for the Plunder and Lockdown players because those playlists are just like all-time bad. I mean, seriously, you can only play those game modes like 1 week at a time. So if you really like those modes, I really feel bad for you. Been a problem since launch, but the airstrikes are one of the most inconsistent items in all of Warzone. Sometimes you'll place it right over someone who's down and they'll live, and other times you'll wipe a whole team who's safely inside a building. I will say the new indicator does help a lot with getting a gauge of where the airstrike is going to hit. At least you know like exactly where the area effect is. Pretty much you're going to be guaranteed safety as long as you're outside the red. However, if you're in that red, no matter how far underground or in a building you are, there's still a chance that you could die. I don't know how they could fix it. I think it does just kind of need like a complete rework, but go ahead and comment how many times you've been killed by an airstrike while you've been inside. Now, the banning and reporting system for Warzone has been all over the place, but I think the worst part about it is the shadow bans. For those that don't know what a shadow ban is, it's basically a stealth ban that will put you in lobbies with other people who receive the same ban. While most hackers and cheaters will get banned outright and lose the privilege to play the game entirely, this ban lets you continue playing the game, but the only way to officially confirm if you've been shadow banned or not is by manually checking Activision's website. And why is this a bad thing? Well, the reasons for getting shadow banned are extremely petty, from spam reporting other players, getting falsely reported, and there's even a period of time in Warzone 2 where if you got 10 kills in one game, you would immediately get shadow banned. Like seriously, right after you got 10 kills, the next player you would look at, you would immediately get like accused of wall hacking. I don't know, it was a bug, but it was a thing. Trust me, look it up. Hell, just me making this video could get me shadow banned. Bans usually lasted about a week or two, and the worst part about them is you have absolutely no way to appeal it or like revoke it in any way, shape, or form. You absolutely just have to wait out the time. That means you could be 100% innocent, but still pay the repercussions of someone who cheated. The shadow bans are obviously very horrific, not only polluted with cheaters, but if you ever get into a lobby without any cheaters, that's a shadow ban lobby, it's gonna be like playing with SBMM cranked to the max. I could dedicate an entire video on SBMM and why it's an awful business model, and I'm going to shed some light on it here, I guess, right now. What I really wanted to talk about was the hidden MMR system in ranked Warzone. Those that don't know, in both the Warzone ranked and ranked multiplayer, there's a hidden MMR, which stands for matchmaking rating, which you think would be your actual rank. Well, no, it's not. The whole purpose of the hidden MMR is to get people with similar stats and skill as you, rather than whatever your current rank is. This means that you'll be going against ranks that are higher or lower than yours for no reason at all. This results in a cranked up version of SBMM to exist in ranked, which completely defeats the purpose of ranked in the first place. I think most people will agree that ranked is designed to play against other people of your rank regardless of how well you do. If you want to learn more about hidden MMR, go check out PRIMEPETE'S video. He did a really good video covering this topic and he goes way more into detail than what I'm talking about here. I'll leave a link down below for his video as well. This is everyone's least favorite kill streaks in the game, and it's for good reason. They're essentially a free kill streak and require absolutely no skill or effort to use. In my opinion, any item that allows someone who's significantly worse than you at the game to outplay you solely because they have an item that you don't shouldn't be in the game. I know the bomb drone can't one-shot anymore, but it's still one of the most disruptive kill streaks in the game since it takes you down to 1 HP. And the mosquito drone is honestly a free kill that just lingers until someone walks into the radius. I know it's pretty inconsistent, but still, getting killed by this thing is so frustrating. Remember back in Verdansk where we had a player count of 150? Boy, what I would do to go back to that. Even Al-Mazrah shipped with 150 people, but eventually got brought down to 100. Now we have ORRZONE, where at launch we had 100 player lobbies, but most recently with Season 4, we got an increase to 120 players. Don't get me wrong, this is a step in the right direction, but what's the problem going back up to 150? We're great on Verdansk, so why not bring it back? But argue Verdansk is the peak of Battle Royale when it comes to Warzone. It's due in part to the 150 player count. However, Resurgence is also flawed with its player counts as well, specifically with Rebirth and Fortune's Keep. I think Fortune's Keep could easily match the player count of Vondel. 51 seems kind of a little soft for a map so big, so I think 72 or even just like meeting the middle at 60 could make a huge difference on the flow. Similarly with Rebirth Island, I think adding just 10 more players to the mix could prevent dead lobbies from happening, which I think happens way too often. Seriously, I've won like 3 games on Rebirth Island before Resurgence has even ended, which should just never happen. Also, I know that we have a ton of maps to choose from, but that period of time where we had ORRZONE Resurgence on rotation, like the maps only allowed like 38 people, I think, which was one of the worst experiences in Warzone, and it had nothing to do with the gameplay or the map, but the actual player count solely just like destroying the experience. Which was a shame because ORRZONE POI rotation Resurgence was actually a great concept because those sectors of the map really worked well for Resurgence. It was just held back by its player count. We've all experienced it. You respawn, you see a loadout drop on your map, and then you go to the loadout drop, but it's just not there. Like legitimately nothing in front of you. I understand this bug happens on previous loadouts that are no longer there, but sometimes this happens on a loadout your team never even had, which just makes absolutely no sense. I first noticed it with Warzone 3's launch, and I've honestly accepted it as a bug that's here to stay, which is just pathetic. It wouldn't be a Warzone hate video without talking about Warzone 2. The universally despised year of Warzone came with a ton of changes, most notably the movement, 2v2 gulags, AI in matches, weapon tuning, and no one-shot snipers amongst a laundry list of issues that everybody hated. I actually have a dedicated video showcasing why Warzone 2 was hated so much, so if you want more details on that, check it out after this video. I personally think Warzone 2 got a lot more hate than it deserved. Like, there was definitely still some fun to be had on there, but without a doubt a massive step in the wrong direction for Warzone, but I would say we're starting to recover quite well with Warzone 3. The The gas has always been a tricky element in Warzone, and there's been a ton of exploits because of it. With Warzone 3, we finally had the option to toggle gas masks on and off so you would avoid situations where your guy would automatically take off or put on a gas mask and interrupt whatever you were doing at that exact time. Well, now we have an option that has kind of solved a lot of the issue, but we still have a lot more moments where your gas mask will be on, but you still take damage for a little bit. And also, while you're taking damage, your gas mask is still getting depleted, so you're actually just like wasting it. I don't know what triggers that, but it's definitely happened to me once or twice, and I'm sure it has to you as well. But the real overlying problem we have with the gas is the stims just straight up not working. Warzone 2, stims pretty much did nothing, but with Warzone 3, those problems were fixed for the most part. There's still a lot of times where right when you stim in the gas, your health goes up just a fraction before stopping. I'm not sure what causes this. My only guess is it's like a timing thing. Like right as you're stimming, you're also taking damage from the gas, which kind of like offsets it. But regardless of what causes it, there needs to be a fix where no matter what, a stim will always bring you to at least 3/4 health in the gas, because a lot of the time you have to spam 2 just to get there, which should not be the case. This is something I mentioned in my must-have features in Warzone video, but let me tell you, this is one of the most ridiculous things that the community has just settled for in Warzone. Throughout its entirety, Warzone, Spectator, and killcam have been unbearable and extremely inconsistent. Every killcam you watch just looks like a hacker, and there's really no way of differentiating between the two. It's a double whammy since, as you stated before, falsely reporting someone can sometimes result in a shadow ban. So when the killcam is nothing like what really happened, the evidence you have of a hacker is very limited. So the final killcam of every Warzone match just straight up is just not the final kill cam. Rarely is it ever the last kill, or is it even the person who got the kill. It is so inaccurate. That's just annoying too. But then there's the Spectator, which is just buggy and super slow. After dying for the most part for like 5 or 10 seconds, you're just an invisible camera in the air, which you can see things you shouldn't. So in some cases, the time between death and actually spectating is a very advantageous moment. You'll see things you aren't supposed to, which lets you have callouts for your teammates, like maybe they're armoring up or reviving or whatever it may be. Which I don't know, maybe they like want that to be like a gameplay feature, which I think would be stupid. Also, I'm convinced that whenever you're spectating someone, you hear footsteps way louder than what they're actually hearing. Seriously, overhaul the Spectator and killcam entirely. Ground up. But those are the 11 things that Warzone players hate. Let me know what you guys hate the most about Warzone, or things that you think that should be fixed. Also, if you want a part 2 of this video, just let me know. I had a lot of ideas for this video that didn't make the cut, so I could definitely squeeze out another, I think. Check out some of my other Warzone videos. Join my Discord if you're feeling crazy. And if you liked, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Comment if you like. And thank you so much for watching.